These white pines are putting out so many pine cones this year, and they're super resinous. So we just get them out of the way so we're not stepping on them and getting pine sap all over our feet. When we first started using this spot as a campsite, we'd cleared it all out, just a little area here, and we would come down and have a little campfire. We brought our picnic table down. We had a tarp over the picnic table just to stay out of the rain. But the position of our fire changed numerous times, and we finally got it into a place that seems to work. We usually have fires in the evening, and as the thermals start to change and the wind starts, or the air starts to get pulled downhill, this pulls the smoke away from the tent and away from our picnic table, away from our cooking area, downhill and not in our face. So we're in that transition period where the wind's wanting to shift down, it's wanting to go up, it's kind of doing its thing. This was the final position for our fire pit because of that, because of the way the thermals work. There's a number of things that we talk about that we could do different, that we maybe should have done different.
Well, I think right from the beginning, not leave any bedding between our visits down here.
Yeah.
Just gives, any small critters the opportunity to get in and
we
destroy.
do find that if we're not here for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks or whatever,
Yeah.
the mice have a tendency to move in. They don't cause a lot of damage, but mice being mice, they just poop as they walk, and so you end up with poop on basically the bed and on the floor and on the counters, the cooktop that we have in there. They did chew.
Screen.
They chewed our screen, but I don't know what I could have done different there. But they did chew like the comforter we had on the mattress. So maybe doing better, putting the blankets and stuff away, put them in a box or something where the mice can't get them.
Just leave the bare necessities, between
Yeah.
times.
And we don't leave food. We do have a closable container, plastic container that we keep any food in. Generally it's just coffee and maybe what else?
Granola bars.
Yeah, just snackies kind of stuff.
Oatmeal packs.
Yeah. Another thing that I would have done different in the construction of the log frame or the wood frame that supports the rainfly is I would have put more rafters on. Heavy wet snow is the downfall for most canvas wall tents, and I think anybody who's used canvas wall tents could attest to that. That's some heavy snow. With more rafters between our ridge pole and our eave poles, I think that would be a much better deal. Our tent originally had the stovepipe going through the roof, and that caused some issues. So we ended up changing it to go through the wall, and we should have done that from the get-go. If you're using your tent 2 or 3 weeks out of the year and taking it down and storing it, it's not a big deal. But in the long-term setup like we have, and we haven't taken this tent down since we set it up in it 4 years, 3 years, 3.5 years, I think, something like that. It can be an issue.
There have been times where we're down here entertaining, and our friends will be here, our sons will be here, and it would be so nice if we had another tent for them, a guest tent.
So we've talked about that numerous times, that we should have put up a second one, or we should put up a second one, just so we can have people stay down here.
Right, because you're enjoying the fire, you're enjoying food, and then, whoops, you know, gotta trek up the hill and go home.
Yeah, I mean, we could even Airbnb it or rent it out or whatever, you know. When we built this deck, we didn't build it with the intentions of putting a tent on it. We built it with the intentions of putting a cabin of some sort on it. But then I started looking at the costs, basically, of building a 12 by 12 cabin, and it was going to be rather expensive.
And very permanent.
So the canvas wall tent was more reasonable, and it wasn't permanent. We could always go and build a tent or a cabin if we wanted to, or if we sold this property, we could pack it up and take it with us. With a permanent structure, you wouldn't be able to do that.
But there is one thing that we always talk about.
The number one thing, that we would have gone bigger.
Not huge, but
Yeah, but our tent is 12 by 12 with a 4-foot overhang on the awning. At the time it seemed good, but in retrospect, we should have gone way bigger.
because we have a full-size bed, we have the wood stove, we have a table with our cooktop.
Going bigger would have been the number one thing that we would have done, going bigger. So how big would we go? I don't know. This is 12 by 12, maybe at the minimum 14 by 16. If you guys are out there thinking of getting one, and that's why you're watching this video, don't hesitate. If you've got a little piece of property and you're thinking about putting a cabin up or something where you can stay, don't hesitate to get a canvas wall tent. You can go to the Davis Tent website, and they have a whole section on all the different packages, and they're fairly reasonable. So those are the 5 things we would change. Very, very minor things,
Yeah.
but we always talk about it, and those are the 5 things we would change. And the big one, making it bigger. Just enough to take the chill off.